ആവുന്നൊക്കെ പറയുന്നു. ഇന്നലെ ഭയങ്കര തണ്ടറി ഷവറാണ്. യെസ് വി ആർ ഞങ്ങളിപ്പം ലണ്ടൻ ഹീത്രൂ എയർപോർട്ടിൻ്റെ അടുത്തുള്ള ഹോളിഡേ ഇൻ ഹോട്ടലിലാണ്. റൂം നമ്പർ 965. നല്ലൊരു ഹോട്ടലാണ്.
Okay, good morning. Slept well? 4 o'clock wake up? Yeah, that happens. Okay, so well, it's cloudy, but this is how London is always, isn't it, Sabi? Sabi is our first captain for the day. It's always like this, London. Okay, so those of you who've been watching cricket, you know it better.
Yes.
That's typical of London. So our program is we're driving straight to the city. Our guide, Mr. Zozo, he's waiting there at the Victoria and Albert Museum Centre. We pick him up and then he continues with us till 1 o'clock. He's the right person to give you insight into what London is in depth. And then of course we'll touch upon the Buckingham Palace. We can't enter, of course. And then the changing of guards, you would have read about it, but this is all subject to weather condition. If it rains, they do not do it. We'll keep having a tab on that and see how to do that. Then, of course, as I said in my WhatsApp, we've got the Parliament Hall, we see the Westminster Abbey and things like that. At 12:30 is our ride on the London Eye, which means we'll have to be there by around 12 or 12:15. And we finish the London Eye and then we proceed for lunch, which is scheduled for 2 o'clock. And then after that we go to the Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. And then, weather and time permitting, we'll give you some time on the Oxford Street. That's my wish. So you get a feel of one of the most important streets in London. And then we come back, expected to be here by around 8 o'clock. So you get some time to freshen up. Dinner is around 9 o'clock. And then we end the day. So this coach will be there for the whole day. Tomorrow onwards, we will have the long distance coach, which will continue all the way to Zurich. So when you come back, do not leave anything on this coach. And later on it belongs to New Bharat Company.
Morning, Dave.
So, what we need to do is get so, what do we for now? We have to work with the weather. So now, let's start Square. This is your free Parliament Square, Trafalgar Square, then Palace Square. Morning. Good morning, everybody. Namaste, everyone. Namaste. Welcome to London. My name is Ozo. I'm going to be your guide for this morning. So please fasten your seatbelts. We're going to do an introduction tour of London, okay? So thank you, guys. We're going to start our way now towards Trafalgar Square. We are in South Kensington, guys. The building here on our left, this is the Victoria and Albert Museum, or the V&A. The Victoria and Albert Museum is the largest decorative art and design museum in the world. It was opened in 1851, and this area on the whole, we call it Albertropolis because Prince Albert, the husband of Queen Victoria, developed it, and there are 3 museums here. There's also the Natural History Museum, and there's also the Science Museum. So 3 world-class museums here in this area. Here on our left side now, this is Brompton Road Oratory. You see the church here on our left. This is the largest Catholic church here in London. It's not a cathedral, it's a church. There are about 4 to 4.5 million Catholics living in the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom officially as a nation is a Protestant nation, including, of course, as you probably know, our Queen Elizabeth II, is the head of the Church of England as well. The first king to become the head of the Church of England was King Henry VIII, and that was around 1534. He wanted to divorce his first wife. The Pope said no. Henry wasn't the man that took no for an answer. It was my way or the highway. So he left the Catholic Church and he created his own church, and he put himself as the head of the church. So the monarch is the head of the church, and under the monarch, of course, we have the Archbishop of Canterbury, who's the top man at the church, and he's responsible for coronations, baptisms, death, etc. in the royal family. Now we moved from South Kensington, guys, and we get into Knightsbridge. Now Knightsbridge, very, very luxurious area. Knightsbridge is where you come to shop till you drop. And in a minute, guys, we're going to see on our right side the largest and the most famous shop of all, and that's, of course, Harrods. Harrods coming on your right, and you're going to see in seconds. Not the building on the right now, it's the next building on the right, and the whole building is Harrods. Used to be owned by Muhammad al-Fayed, the father of Dodi, the guy who died sadly with Diana. Here is the building on our right now. And today it is owned by the government of Qatar. They paid £1.5 billion for this shop. You could buy all the brands in Harrods, and until the late 70s you could also buy elephants, lions, or any other animals as well. In fact, Ronald Reagan ordered an elephant in Harrods when he was the governor of California, and that was delivered to his ranch in California. Today, of course, we're not allowed to trade with wild animals, but anything you want, they'll get you in Harrods, of course, as long as it's legal. And if you're very, very rich, we're talking about, like, you know, spending £500,000, £1 million in one shop, which is not too difficult to do in Harrods. I mean, you can buy earrings there for £1 million easily as well. They will give you shop assistance. They'll close the shop early for you as well, and they'll give you unlimited amount of champagne as well. You know, they know the more you drink, the more you spend. So they're very clever with psychology. Okay. Now in a minute, guys, we're going to see the most expensive apartment block in the United Kingdom. We're going to come on our left in a second, but look on your right side. You see this scaffolding? Very unusual, different scaffolding than our normal scaffoldings. You see, these are designed on our right side. These are designed to hold the facade of the building. You see how the whole building has been demolished. So when they're finished building this building on our right side, it will be brand new building. But outside, you wouldn't be able to tell. The frame of the building is still going to be 200 years old. That means that the frame is protected by law. It's a very expensive way to build. Now look on our left side, the modern building coming on our left now. You see on your left McLaren car showroom, and that's the most expensive building on our left now. That's number 1 Hyde Park. Number 1 Hyde Park, if you wanted to rent 3-bedroom here, you're looking at about £19,000 a week to rent. So they've got McLaren's car showroom, and they've got a Rolex shop as well underneath. A Rolex, in case they had a shower and they forgot their watch, they simply buy another one. They don't go back upstairs. Because, you know, if you spend £50 million to buy 2 bedrooms there, so if you spend £50 million, £30,000 watch is, well, peanuts, really. Harvey Nichols shop on our right side. This is another very, very famous shop here in the United Kingdom. And we just passed on our left, that was the Mandarin Oriental Hotel as well. So loads of Michelin star restaurants here. This is very, very high-end area, very expensive area to live in as well. This is the area as well that Madonna used to live here in the past. Madonna bought a house around here in the 90s. It cost her £5 million, and she complained that it was very, very expensive. But when she broke up with her husband, Guy Ritchie, at the time, she went back to New York. She sold the house for £45 million. And nobody had Madonna complaining then. She simply went back to New York. Good luck to her. So you see another building now on our right side. You see how here the building is towards the end. So you see again how the facade is from, or it was probably Victorian, nearly 180 years ago to 200 years ago, the building on our right side. So by the time it's finished, people won't be able to tell. So that preserves the facade of the street, the look. Ferrari car showroom here on our right side, the refurbishment at the moment. And the park on our left, guys, this is Hyde Park. Hyde Park, one of 8 royal parks here in London. What we mean by royal parks in history, it was a designated area for the royal family to hunt in. And if they would have caught anybody in the past in the parks, they would have been hanged because they would have been trespassing on the king's or queen's lands. And of course, I'm glad to say today we don't hang people anymore in this country, guys. The death penalty in England was abolished in 1969. The Lansborough Hotel on our right side, you see this beautiful neoclassical building on our right, that was built as a hospital. That was St. George's Hospital, and today it's one of the top hotels in London called the Lansborough Hotel. And their residential suite is the dearest in London at £26,000 a night. So people like Kanye West, Leonardo DiCaprio, Madonna, you know, they all stay here in their residential suite. And the reason is very expensive. Across the road, literally, you're living across the road from the Queen and the Duke of Wellington, because we're about to get now into Hyde Park Corner. Look at the Wellington Arch on your right side, the big arch. That's to commemorate the Battle of Waterloo, 1815, when the Duke of Wellington, who lived here on our left side, defeated Napoleon once and for all. You see, today it is the 9th Duke of Wellington. So the Battle of Waterloo, 1815, that's when, after that, they built that arch to commemorate that battle. That arch has got 3 floors inside, and it used to be a police station. And today, it is a museum, and at the very top, there is a banqueting room big enough for 60 people. So if people want anything, you know, a particular party, you know, if you've got like a law firm and you really want to impress your client, you bring them somewhere that you know is unique, and this is really unique. There's only one arch. Now another park here on our right, that's Green Park, and the monument here is the Bomber Command Monument, and at the back there's also a monument to all the brave Indian men that volunteered to come and fight in the First and Second World War. And there were quite a lot of them, you will be surprised, that chose to come and do that for their own personal reason, you know, such as wanting to fight, you know, fascism. On our right side, this is another royal park. This is a much smaller one. This is now Green Park. The reason it's called Green Park, in 1660s, we have a new king in this country, and his name is Charles II. And he was a bit of a naughty king. Yeah? He had a wife. His queen was called Catherine of Braganza, and she wasn't fertile, sadly, but he wasn't. And he had 14 mistresses and 14 children, one with each mistress. Very naughty king. So one day, the queen sees him picking up flowers in the park, and she thinks, how lovely, my husband is going to bring me some flowers. And then she sees him giving the flowers to one of his mistresses Needless to say, she was very, very angry, so she ordered that all the flowers be pulled out of the park. Hence the name, Green Park, only grass and trees, no flowers. But I think it came out quite cheap, you know, all my friends would have pulled all his hair out, to tell you that much. Definitely, that would have been intolerable. And the road we're on, guys, this is Piccadilly, okay, Piccadilly, taking us to Piccadilly Circus, okay? So, Piccadilly named after Mr. Piccadilly. It's a man who invented a shirt with a very, very stiff collar. And King George III in 1700 fell in love with it. He started wearing it, and therefore all the men in the country started wearing it, and that made him very rich. So he built the first house here, so they named the road after him. Piccadilly Street, and leading to Piccadilly Circus. Circus simply means a circle in Latin. Now on our right side comes the Ritz Hotel, one of the top hotels in London. You'd recognize it if you saw the film Notting Hill. That is where Hugh Grant came to meet Julia Roberts at the end of the film, here on our right. And it is the most famous for afternoon tea. If you want afternoon tea in the Ritz, you need to book it 4 to 6 months in advance, and it will cost you £75. That's how much it costs. But to be fair to the rich, you're not going to live hungry. You'll get sandwiches, cakes, champagne. People don't go for that. They go so they can say, I had tea in the Ritz. That's what they go for. You know, there's still quite a lot of snobs around, so people will pay a lot of money to be able to say something. The area on our right, St. James's. The street on our right as well is St. James's Street, and that leads to St. James's Palace. Okay? Now, where are we going straight here?
Yeah, you want to try it?
Oh, if you're going from here, it's fine. But we're going, you know what?
Straight to Piccadilly.
What do you prefer, Piccadilly Circus or St. James's Palace? Okay. Okay, so we're going to go via Piccadilly Circus. Yeah, it's fine. But as we're going straight here, guys, if you look quickly, we're going to go slow. Look on your right side, at the bottom of the street, you will see St. James's Palace. And St. James's Palace is the official court of our Queen, and very important when it comes to Indian history. You see at the bottom there, for bricks. That is where Mahatma Gandhi came in 1932 to attend the second round table meeting. And that, of course, led to Indian independence eventually. So very, very important. And here, Burlington Arcade on our left. You see here on our left is arcades, all shopping arcades, and on our right, Piccadilly, loads of arcades here. The Royal Academy of Arts here on our left. And look on your right, you see the Fortman and Mason shop? This is the grocer to the Queen. This shop has been there over 300 years. And even today, when you go through the door, it's like you're traveling back in time. It's like 300 years ago. But very, very nice. We're not talking 300 years ago, tired. This is 300 years ago, chic. Everything is mega, mega chic. It's a beautiful shop. And I don't know if you saw in India, there was a sitcom here called Are You Being Served in the 70s. It was very popular. And that's the shop that actually inspired that story of Are You Being Served. Very, very good. Still, today everybody talk about it here. Now we're about to get into Piccadilly Circus. So Piccadilly Circus, of course, very famous because this is where all the hippies used to sit in the 60s, and after them the punks in the 70s. So really, really important. Even today, when you come here after midnight, you see a bunch of young people with something they use like a push on wheels. They push like big speakers, and they dance like you've never seen people dance before. So it really is still a really trendsetter even today, and they sit around a statue. In a minute when we're going to go around, you're going to see on your right the statue. It's called Eros. Eros is the Christian angel of charity. Okay? And this is also the beginning of another street called Shaftesbury Avenue, and Lord Shaftesbury is the man who made charity fashionable. Before that, people used to think people poor, it was their fault. They were not very sympathetic towards poor people. And then he changed it. He said, no, you know, sometimes people, you know, they may not be intelligent enough. People have different IQs. Or they may not be, you know, they may be mentally disturbed, or they're retarded. It could be a million reasons. So it's not true. So he started the fashion of philanthropy. So you see, and on our left side, we're going to see this is the most expensive place in the UK also to advertise. The screen that you're going to see now on your left side was changed last year at the cost of £38 million. There you go, see the screen on your left. Tell you what, it's very expensive, but it is better than my TV at home, I'll tell you that much. It's absolutely incredible. And the cost here, the whole screen can be divided to 8. That's how they work it. And in 2012, Yoko Ono, the wife of John Lennon, took 1/8 and she wrote on it, "Give peace a chance." And of course that was written by John Lennon, and that cost her £135,000 for 2 weeks. Which gives you an idea of the cost. Last year was taken all by Victoria Beckham at the cost of £2 million, around £2 million for 2 weeks, because she celebrated 10 years for her fashion house. Okay? Now the street we're on is called, this is Haymarket. Okay? Haymarket, because if you come to London in the mid-80s, 1800s, London was just as busy as it is today, but not with cars, of course. It was busy with horses and carriages, and that was the main market for the hay to feed the horses. Okay? Today it's just chic. So we've got a cinema here. You see, this is where The Lion King is premiering here on our right, and 2 very famous theaters. See, coming on our left, Theatre Royal, excuse me, Haymarket here on our left, and Her Majesty's Theatre on our right. You see, that's where the Phantom of the Opera plays. That is already 33 years on stage, the Phantom of the Opera, and it is still not the longest running musical. The longest running musical is Les Miserables, 36 years, and the longest running play is The Mousetrap by Agatha Christie, that runs now for 65 years on the stage. We're gonna come off here?
I don't know, you wanna make this one?
Yeah, if we can, yes. Okay, guys, we got into Trafalgar Square, so we're gonna get off. Okay, we're gonna get off and have a little chat and take a picture here before we continue further. Okay? Okay, it's nice. We don't have traffic is still very quiet, so we can catch a few more birds with one stone, today. All right, guys.
I'll open the back door here.
Yeah, everybody, please. We're gonna come off the side door because the front. Okay, you picking up some more people? That's it. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, guys, let's start here, please, a second. Okay. Okay, guys, so welcome to Trafalgar Square. So Trafalgar Square, let's start with the name. The name is the Battle of Trafalgar. So the Battle of Trafalgar took place in 1805. Trafalgar is in the southwest of the Iberian Peninsula, so where Portugal and Spain is today. So that is a naval battle. So Napoleon was defeated at sea. You couldn't find Napoleon on land before the sea because we are an island. So this is Lord Nelson up there in the column. It's 52 meters high. And Lord Nelson led the British fleet that defeated Napoleon at sea. You see, he's up there and he's facing Portsmouth. Portsmouth is where his fleet left from towards Trafalgar. And it was King George IV who donated this land to create this square. There are 15 Trafalgar squares in the UK, but this is the largest and the most famous one. Okay? So before it became Trafalgar Square, it used to be a mews. That's where the king used to keep his horses and carriages as well. So we can see the king over there. You see the man on the horse there? That's King George IV who donated the land. So we've got Nelson up there in the column. At the bottom we can see there are 4 sculptures around the bottom of the pillar, low reliefs. That is the 4 famous battles that he won. One of the Battle of Cape St. Vincent, Battle of the Nile, Battle of Copenhagen, and of course, the Battle of Trafalgar. The Battle of Trafalgar is where he was shot dead. So that was the end of his life as well. He won it, but he also lost his life. And around the statue we can see also 4 lines by an artist called Edwin Landseer. Now the fountains were added not because they're beautiful, they are beautiful, but they were added to reduce the space for demonstrators, because this square is used for national celebrations and demonstrations as well. The most severe demonstrations in history will take place here. They can get really, really violent as well. So that reduces the space, so it's a little bit easier for the police to control the crowd when there is a demonstration. In front of us here, with the dome, the neoclassical building, that is the National Gallery of the United Kingdom. And you see on the left side, it's got a new edition as well. The old part, the first one is from 1834. The new edition completed in 1991. So you see the new edition, that's where they keep the art from 1250 to 1500. And in the old part, 1500 to 1900. So there are about 2004 2,500 classical paintings kept in this building. The church over there on the right side to the National Gallery, that is St. Martin's in the Fields. This is the parish church of our Queen. This is also the parish church of our Prime Minister. As you know, it's Theresa May at the moment, but I think she's got 5 days left before she's out. And then we will know if it's Johnson or Hunt. We will soon find out. But the church itself completed in 1726. Okay? With an architect called James Gibbs, one of my favorite architects today. Very, very important church for music recitals. So if you want to see like a good concert, you know, Beethoven or Bach or anything like that, you come here. It costs you as little as 15 to good seat, 25 pounds. That's the idea, is to make classical music accessible to people. The building there on the right side to the church, that is South African Embassy. See, outside that building, this is, by the way, that building was designed by Sir Edwin Lutyens. He's the same man who designed the President House in New Delhi. Okay? So outside this building, there has been a demonstration for over 25 years, non-stop, 24 hours a day. They did it in shifts, sometimes 2 people, sometimes 25, sometimes 5, whatever they could, until Nelson Mandela was released. And when Mandela was released later on in 1995, he came to say thank you to these people. He stood at the balcony there where the flag is, and they closed the whole area. And there were hundreds of thousands of people who came to see him here. Okay? Now, Canada House, where we parked, the building we parked next to. And now, and you see we got also Malaysia House there in the corner. Now, you see the statues. You see there are 4 plinths. Right? So like we said, that's George IV, the man who donated this land. The 2 over there, some admirals, a bit boring really. And the one over here, you see, this plinth over here, they were supposed to have here the statue of his brother, who became a king after him, William IV. But they ran out of money. So it stood empty until 1999. In 1999, they decided to do what they call now the 4th plinth. So the idea here is that every year and a half there is international competition, and whoever wins the competition. 365 days a year, and you will never see the same play again. But you will need a lot of rupees in your pocket because it's very, very expensive to go to the theatre in London. If you get a ticket for £50, that's cheap, believe me, very cheap. We're going to see now India House, guys, but we're going to slow down so you can see Nehru as well. We've got a statue of Nehru coming up on your right side, guys. 1 second. Here we go. Look on your right side and we can see. We're going to slow down here. There you go. You see Nehru there? There you go. Here's your first Prime Minister. It's hard to see him between the two trees. And this is India House now on your right side. You see all the emblems of different states of India. At night, they light this building in a Bharat flag. Beautiful. Really, really, the whole building. It's beautiful, really beautiful at night. Now the building on our right side now, this is Bush House. Now if you are a fan of BBC World Service, that's where it came from. For 70 years, it was broadcasted from this building until the BBC moved out because they said it was too expensive, the rents. Today it is owned by King's College London. King's College, of course, is where Desmond Tutu was educated. He was the Archbishop of South Africa, also a Nobel Prize winner. London School of Economics here on our left side. So you see loads of colleges in London, and King's College and London School of Economics, they've got faculties all over London. So these are just some of them. Australia House on our right side, if you're a fan of Harry Potter films, that's the building that was used as the bank in Harry Potter films. You see the front? That's Australia House. Now St. Clement Danes Church coming on your right side, one of 2 island churches in London. And the Royal Courts of Justice here, now on our left, opened in 1882 by Queen Victoria. This is where very, very, very rich people come to get divorced. Yes, this is the highest court in the land for civil cases. That's where Paul McCartney got divorced from Heather Mill. They gave her £25 million and she complained. She said, did you expect my daughter to fly economy? So poor thing, £25 million. That was like 10, 12 years ago. Loads of money is loads of money today, you know? But look at the monument in the middle of the street now. Look, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the City of London. We are now in the City of London. This is a city that the Romans founded in 47 AD. Londinium. This is who founded London. Look at the house on your right, the black and white, Prince Henry's room. That building is from 1605. Prince Henry was the son of King James I, and we are on Fleet Street. Look at the Old Cock Tavern. You see the pub there? Look how Narrows survived the Great Fire of London of 1666. We're going to slow down here now, guys. Look on your left side, this church. That is St. Dunstan in the west. Now look on your left, you're going to see in a minute a statue of Queen Elizabeth I. Look up there. You see on your left? That is the oldest outdoor statue in London. This is from 1586 by an artist called William Kerwin. Very important church for American connections. This is where George Calvert is buried. And he is the founder of the state of Maryland. And also Lord Delaware state named after, was married here. So there's quite a few American connections here in the City of London because it was these guilds and places in the city that paid for all the expeditions to the New World, because they knew that furs and gold and tobacco, etc. will come back eventually. Now Fleet Street, guys, we also call it Ink Street, and that's because this is where the first newspaper in the world was printed, and that was in 1702, and it was called the Daily Current, the first newspaper. All the newspapers in London, the national newspapers, were based here until Rupert Murdoch moved them all out. The last agency to leave Fleet Street was Reuters, and that was in 2003. Today, all the newspapers are in East London. So in a minute, we're going to see a few buildings that were owned by the newspapers, and today, they're just with lawyers and accountants. Okay? So the first one coming now on our left, that used to be the Sunday Telegraph. Look at that beautiful Art Deco in Egyptian style. This building now on our left side, that was the Sunday Telegraph. And the next building on our left, you will see black glass with stainless steel, beautiful Art Deco, and that used to be the Daily Express. There you go on our left now. Okay, the church on our right side, this is St. Bride's Church. That is the church of journalists. So Rupert Murdoch, not only he moved them all out, he came back in 2016 to give them last stab, and that's where he got married with Jerry Hall. Jerry Hall, I don't know if you remember, but Jerry Hall used to be married to Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stone. She's like, I don't know, 170 years younger than him, something like that. Yeah, and they say money doesn't talk. Of course it does. Okay, now we're going to cross a circus now. It's called Ludgate Circus. What I love about Ludgate Circus, a young orphan boy used to sell magazines there, and his name was Richard Edgar Wallace. To be orphan is terrible. To be orphan in the Victorian times is 10 times terrible, because there was no state to help you. You just starve. No education, no food, no roof, nothing. Nobody cares. So he started selling magazines here. He started selling magazines here, and he was inspired by the journalists. And he became a reporter, and then he moved to America, and he wrote King Kong. See? And that's what I love about that story. It shows you that even out of destitution, he made something of his life. I think that's the most inspiring story for me. One of the most inspiring stories. Now we're in Ludgate Hill, heading towards St. Paul's. So we go to the back, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so in a minute you're going to see a church here on our left called St. Martin's within Ludgate. Here we go, that's the church now on our left. That is where Princess Pocahontas used to worship. She's of course the first American Indian to convert to Christianity. We know about her from Elvis Presley's song Viva, of course, you know. Captain Smith and Pocahontas. She helped to save Captain Smith from death. Now coming up is the Pearl of London. The Pearl of London, of course, is St. Paul's Cathedral. St. Paul's Cathedral that we see today was built between 1675 and completed in 1675 to 1711. Only 36 years to build. Built by Sir Christopher Wren. It's very, very rare to see a cathedral of that magnitude that was built in the life of an architect. You see on your left side, and you see the Queen, that is Queen Anne. I don't know if any of you saw the new film, The Favourite. That is about her. Queen Anne, the sad queen. She had 17 children and she died childless. So she was the queen when the cathedral was finished. This is also, by the way, where Charles and Diana got married in 1981. Just here on our left side. But we're going to talk about it in a minute. What we're going to do, we're going to stop here in a second when we turn left, and then we're going to quickly go up to a roof which will give us fantastic views of the city, and then we will rush back to Buckingham Palace because the Queen has cooked some breakfast for you, so we don't want to be late, yes? Yes. We don't want your rotis and dal to go cold. Okay guys, we're going to get off in a minute now. See on your left some great views of St. Paul's Cathedral. You see the tower as well, that is St. Augustine Watling Street. Look at the building around it, it's irrelevant. And that's because all the church was bombed. Only the tower survived. Guys, let's get off as quickly as we can, okay?
അല്ല അവിടെ അതിന്റെ മോളിൽ കാണാൻ പറ്റിയില്ല ആ ടൈം നാട്ടിലെവിടെയാണ് ആ മനസ്സിലാക്കും വേണ്ടല്ല സൗദിയില്ല ഇവിടെ ഉണ്ട് ഞാൻ സൗദിയിലായിരുന്നു ഇപ്പം സൗദി പള്ളിയിലും ആ എവിടെ അല്ല ബേബി മീൻസ് എവിടെ ആ ഞാൻ തന്നാണ് എവിടെയാണ് ഞാൻ സീ ഫുഡ് സൗദി ഫിഷറീസ് പോലെ ഞാൻ 96 പോയതാണ് ഫാമിലിയായിട്ട് 2008 2008 ഫാമിലിയായിട്ട് പോയി പക്ഷെ അവരെ കുട്ടികൾ അവിടുത്തെ പഠിത്തം കഴിഞ്ഞ് തിരിച്ച് കോളേജിൽ വരാൻ തുടങ്ങി ഇപ്പം ഞങ്ങൾ രണ്ടും മാത്രമേ വൈഫ് അവിടെ സ്കൂൾ ടീച്ചറാണ്
അതെ ഇപ്പം നാട്ടിലാണോ
സൗദിയിലല്ല അല്ല ഞങ്ങൾ രണ്ടും സൗദി ഒരാൾ ഇവിടെ ഇൻഫോ പാർക്ക് ജോലിയാണ് MBA കഴിഞ്ഞു മറ്റേ ആൾ PG സെക്കൻഡ് ഇയർ തിരുവല്ലയിൽ പഠിക്കും ഇവിടെ തിരുവല്ല മാക് ഫസ്റ്റ്
വെണ്ണല്ലേ
ആ വേണ്ട പലയിടത്ത് വീടുണ്ട് വെണ്ണല ഞങ്ങൾ ചാളായിട്ട് വെണ്ണല വൈഫ് ഇന്ത്യൻ ബിസിനസ് സ്കൂൾ ടീച്ചറാണ് അപ്പോൾ അതുകൊണ്ട്
ഇപ്പോഴും ഉണ്ട്
അപ്പോൾ ഞങ്ങൾ വെക്കേഷനായിട്ട് വന്നായി ജൂലൈ വെക്കേഷനാണ്
എല്ലാവരും കൂടെ ഇന്ത്യൻ എംബസി പഠിക്കുന്നുണ്ടായിരുന്നു
എത്ര ആളായിക്കോട്ട് പോകുന്നു
ഞാനോ
ആ
ഞാനിപ്പോഴും എനിക്ക് വേറെ സീറ്റ് ചെയ്യാറുണ്ട് ഓക്കെ ഞാൻ ഇന്നലെ ഒരു 2-3 മാസമേ ആയുള്ളൂ ഒത്തിരി ആളെ നാട്ടിലാണ്
ആ ഫാമിലി ഉണ്ടാവും അവിടെ
എവിടെ
ഫാമിലി
ഫാമിലിയുടെ
എന്ന് വിട്ടു അവിടുന്ന്
ഫാമിലി പോയത് 2010-ലാണ്
ആ
ഞാൻ ഇപ്പോൾ 2-3 മാസമായി പക്ഷേ എന്നാലും എനിക്ക് വേറെ സീറ്റ് ചെയ്യണം
ആ ടീച്ചറാണ് ഓ
Come on, guys, we need to go. We're making our way now towards Buckingham Palace. Sorry, sir, but the Royal College of Physicians is not in our direction today. So today, you're going to have to compromise and be the physician of the Queen today. Yeah? Instead. No, you should, why not? You'll be the physician of Queen Elizabeth II. You see the dome on our right side of St. Paul's? The dome weighs 65,000 tons. Yeah? This is the first triple dome in the world. You see it's very big outside, inside it's in the right proportions to the church, and in between the two there is a cone of bricks to hold the lantern on the top, which weighs 70 tons. Look on your right side, you see the zodiacs and the face of Winston Churchill inside. That is Bracken House. Bracken House is the headquarters of Financial Times. You see, that's why it's kind of a pinkish brick, because their paper is made of pink. Now, of course, we don't think of Winston Churchill as the gods, as sun god. The sun god is Louis XIV. Of course, we know that. But we're just joking, you know. Winston Churchill was quite a funny man himself. Well, some people said sometimes rude. I don't think so. I think he's just he wasn't politically correct, which is quite refreshing actually in our world today. So he made jokes and we sometimes laughed at him as well, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now the City of London, guys, square mile, there are 7,000 people who live here, but there are 450,000 people who come here every day to work. This is the center of our commercial, our business center. There are 251 foreign banks in a square mile. It's home to the Bank of England. It's home to the London Stock Exchange. This is where the prices of gold and silver are determined. And this square mile produces 11% of our GDP. Our gross domestic product in this country is around $2.9 trillion. Very similar to the one in India now. But of course, you're growing much faster now. So you're growing at about 6 to 7% a year. So very soon, you will be surpassing us. Let's slow down a second here. Guys, look on your left. Let's slow down a bit. Have a look on your left, guys. This is Millennium Bridge there. You see? There we go. Thank you very much. Millennium Bridge, this is the College of Arms on our right. This is where you come to have a coat of arms, you know, either for family or for war. That is Faraday building on our right. That was the first telephone exchange in the UK. And that telephone exchange was active during the Second World War. St. Benet's Paul's Wharf on our left, that was a Welsh church, and we're getting now to the River Thames. Look on your left, that is the National, this is Tate Modern, guys. You see that big bricks building? That's Tate Modern. Over 45,000 square meters of modern art, and 45,000 square meters of modern art, and this is the most popular gallery in the UK. Over 7 million people a year visit that gallery. You see the bridge on our left? That is Blackfriars Bridge. This is one of 3 bridges in the world to be powered by solar panels. You see the top? They're all solar panels, and that is a railway bridge. So 2 Blackfriars Bridge, 1 railways, and then we will see there's an older one after that in red, which is Blackfriars Bridge. That is traffic and pedestrian. See, 1982 we woke up and we found a man hanging from Blackfriars Bridge. Very unusual. This is not Sicily. We don't have mafia here like this. Anyway, when the police took the man down, they found 5 bricks in his pockets and $14,000 in 3 different currencies. It turned out after that that the man was called Roberto Calvi. Roberto Calvi was the CEO of Banco Ambrosiano. That's the largest private bank in Italy. That was the banker to the Pope. Shocking, really shocking. Nobody was ever persecuted for his death. They think it was the mafia. You see, this is the bridge now we're going under. That is Blackfriars Bridge. By the way, guys, we're still in the City of London. Now, City of London also independent. They have their own law there, and they have their own police as well. Their police was founded in 1839, 10 years after the Metropolitan Police was founded. And of course, left to us, that is the River Thames. The word Thames comes from the Roman language. Tam meant wide, and Isis was water. So Tam, Isis, wide, water. Corrupted with times to Thames. You see the building on our left, the square building, cream and brown. That is the London Studios. That's where a lot of our TV programs are filmed. Last year, they put 38 statues of men at the roof as if they were going to jump. And that was Project 48. Project 48, it turns out that 48 men commit suicide every week in the UK. And that was a project to start getting people talking about suicide, because it's such a taboo, and hopefully if we talk about it, we can help people before they do that, and they kill themselves, and they destroy the lives of their families as well. Across on our left side of the river, this is the National Gallery. You see that big concrete building? The style is called brutalist. It comes from the French word beton brut, which means raw concrete, typical in the late 60s. 3 theaters inside. And the bridge on our left, this is Waterloo Bridge, or we call it the Ladies' Bridge, because women built this bridge because all the men were at war in the Second World War. In fact, women ran this country during the Second World War. Men were back and just dismissed them as if nothing ever happened. Pretty bad, actually. But there you go. You know, today we've got a memorial for that. Now, in a minute, guys, you're going to see on your left side, you're going to see, let's slow down, please, by the needle. Look on your left, you can see the Cleopatra needle. There you go. Cleopatra needle on our left now. This is the oldest street item in London. You see on your left? That was made in 1450 BC in Egypt. Incredible, incredible. It was given to England by Muhammad Ali. He was the ruler of Egypt of Sudan in 1819 as thank you for defeating Napoleon in Egypt. Over 5,000 people got engaged on London Eye. Don't ask me how many broke up. I would say around 2,500. That's the rate of divorce in this country. Ministry of Defense, guys, on our right side, MOD. And coming on our right, if you're a fan of Sherlock Holmes, Scotland Yard. New Scotland Yard. There you go, guys. On our right side. New Scotland Yard because they moved from a place that used to be called Great Scotland Yard. That's where the new came in. And that sign, you see the sign that turns around? That's the cleanest thing in London. Every day they polish it. Because almost every day there are news agencies here. And they film it. They don't want to appear scruffy, so they polish it every day. I like the building. I think it's a very cool building, actually. So New Scotland Yard, that is well, the most serious wing of the Metropolitan Police. They take care of murders, terrorism, you know, serious crimes, basically. Yeah, New Scotland Yard. So nothing to do with our secret services, right? It's not a secret service. It's just well, you don't want them knocking on your door. Let's put it like that. Okay. All right, you can see the bridge on our left, the Green Bridge, guys. That is Westminster Bridge. Westminster Bridge. Okay, by the way, I told you the Thames is 346 kilometers long. 109 kilometers of that is tidal. The tidal, salt water. There are 120 different kind of fish. So on the tidal side, there are around 38, 39 bridges. And all along the Thames, there are around 250 bridges. But of course, the first bridge is London Bridge. 250 bridges, yeah. Yeah, 346 kilometers, so it's quite long. Some of them are very small, you know, some of them are more grand. Of course, the most famous one is London Bridge, but not visually. Visually, the most famous one is Tower Bridge, and everybody mix Tower Bridge with London Bridge. So London Bridge is, well, it's quite boring actually, to be honest with you. The old one was nice. The day one opened 1973, very boring. Everybody thinks the Tower Bridge is the one that opens. That's Tower Bridge, not London Bridge. The last London Bridge was nice, and today it's in America. It's in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. It's a man who developed the city. His name was Robert McCulloch. He came and bought it in 1968 for $2,460,000. They dismantled it stone by stone and took it to Arizona and rebuilt it there. Now you know, next time you look at the European map, if you push Great Britain towards the mainland, you will see that the Thames connects to the Rhine. And that's because the Thames used to be a tributary of the Rhine. And it was when Britain became, you see, Britain has only been islands for about 10,000 years. when the melting of the last ice age this year. Always have to hear what our government says. You see, that's Portcullis House on our right side. This is 213 offices for our members of parliament. This building is connected with a tunnel, underground tunnel, to the houses of parliament, because they don't have enough room. See? Now, the restoration of the houses of parliament is going to take altogether 25 years, and it's going to cost us £5 billion to restore. But Big Ben will be, that's why they started with Big Ben, because that's what, even though the whole building is beautiful, that's what everybody wants to see. So as soon as that's done, the rest. I think it's funny, if everybody comes, if the whole building is covered with scaffolding and they can see Big Ben, they're happy. If they can see the whole building and not Big Ben, they're not happy. So, you know, that's the way it goes. There you go, you see on your left, Westminster Bridge. And you see how it's painted in green. The reason is that this side, our side of the Houses of Parliament is the Houses of Commons. Their leather seats are made of green leather. That's why the bridge is painted in green. The next bridge forward is Lambeth Bridge, and that's painted in red. And the other side of the Houses of Parliament is the Houses of Lords, and their leather seats are made of red leather. So via the bridges you can tell also who sits who. Right, we're going to come to Parliament Square after Buckingham Palace. I think we might walk from Buckingham Palace to Parliament Square. Okay, so if you want to go and find yourself a place in Tottenham,
Yeah, if I drop you at Buckingham.
you drive at Buckingham, yeah, and we'll meet you at Parliament Square, Tottenham Street.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, you see on your left side, guys, this is Big Ben and the Houses of Parliament now. And again, you see that's the same building on our right side, which you talked about. It's called Portcullis House. Now look on the left. You see the building on our left is much older than the rest. You see? That is Westminster Hall. Westminster Hall is almost 1,000 years old.
1,000.
Do you remember the film with Mel Gibson called Braveheart? Yeah? That was about a man called William Wallace, a Scottish patriot. It's a true story. That's where his trial took place, in that building in 1305. And his head was the first head to be stuck on London Bridge on the pole. That's what started that tradition. There you go. Look on your right side. You can see Winston Churchill on your right, and Bapu there. You see Mahatma Gandhi. There you go. He's over there as well. But we're gonna see him. We're gonna see him later, guys. There you go. Westminster Hall here on our left. That's where trial of William Wallace took place. The church here on our left now, that is St. Margaret Church. That's where Winston Churchill got married. And Westminster Abbey here on our left side. Okay. Westminster Abbey, our Church of Coronation. On our right side, Supreme Court of the United Kingdom. But we are coming here. Okay, so we'll talk about it more in details when we come here. See on your left, that's the main entrance to Westminster Abbey. That's where William and Kate walked in for their wedding in 2011. And also the Queen in 1947, because she got married there as well. The sanctuary on our left side. You see, Westminster Abbey started, well, as a monastery. That's what it was. So on your right side, that is the Central Methodist Hall. This is where the United Nations held its first assembly in 1946. In this building on our right side, very important building. Now look around you guys. Now this strip was all bombed in the Second World War. Only one building survived and one pub. That's it. The whole street was flattened down. And that's where you see left and right, the old building post 1945. So this is like a real trauma. You can imagine a whole street. One building and one pub. I don't know why a pub. Maybe Hitler was planning to come for a drink or something after the war. Who knows? All right. Victoria Street we're on, named after Queen Victoria. And the pub that survived is named after her husband. It's called the Convent. You see, even in death they're together. Incredible. But Victoria was on the throne between 1837 to 1901. The Lord named after her because London expanded the fastest during her period of time. Look on your left, Christchurch Gardens. You see that monument? This is for Henry Purcell. Henry Purcell, very, very important music writer from the late early 1600s. And look also on the left side in the corner, you see there is a monument that looks like a scroll. That's very important. That this is where women used to gather together. The suffragettes, they fought for women's rights to vote. So what they did, every time that Parliament sat in session, they came and gathered together because they weren't allowed. See? So this is one of the most important things in history, because that's what led for the changes that women got the rights to vote. And last year we celebrated 100 years for women receiving the rights to vote. Here's Jim. Okay, here we go, guys. We're into Caxton Street 9 now, named after William Caxton. He brought the printing press to England in 1474. St. Ermin's Hotel here on our right. This is where Secret Services used to stay during the Second World War. And Caxton House on our right. That used to be the City Hall for Westminster. And that's where John Collins and Roger Moore got married. Yeah, civil marriage. Now look on your left. See the Blue Coat School on our left from 1709. That used to be philanthropy school. Today it is a fashion house of an artist called what's his name? Stewart. I forgot his first name now. I forgot his first name. Something Stewart. And now in a second, guys, we're going to see the Taj Hotel here in London. Okay, you can see it already on your right side, guys. The Taj Hotel. The Taj Hotel, they've just announced they're going to spend a lot of money refurbishing it. You see, it's got a perfect position and it's a little bit tired inside. It still looks very good, but it's a little bit tired. But if you charge £500-600 a night for a basic room, you need to offer luxury because London has a lot of competition. You see here on your left? It's a fabulous building and you're very close to Parliament and you're very close to Buckingham Palace. So they've got, you know, all the ingredients to be one of the top hotels here in London. Okay, shortly, guys, we're going to make our way down and we're going to go. I'm so glad the sun came out. Okay. What's here? Listen what you do, yeah? When we get there, I'll call you 10 minutes before. Now, if whatever suits you, either come to Todd Hill or Great Smith as well. Whatever is better for you. Remember, we're going from there to the London Eye. So, okay? Yeah, you see, whatever suits you. We'll call you 10 minutes before. We'll walk from here. You haven't got his number? Let me get it.
549. 549.
No, it's 6
One
months.
second. One second, I'm gonna... Okay, guys. Okay, guys. The new soldiers, what changing of the guard is basically, it's like changing a shift. It's like you doing morning shift, and then you finish at 4, and I come in at 4, and I start the second shift. Okay, that's what it's about. Now there are 5 units, foot units, that guard the Queen Palaces. Okay, they've all been going on since 1660. So they've got the Grenadiers, Coldstream, Grenadiers, Coldstream, then we've got Scottish, Irish, and Welsh. 5 foot, and then there are 2 which are cavaliers. So they're mounted on horses. So the cavaliers, do you remember early in the morning you saw the most expensive building in London, in the UK? Do you remember that? Next door to it, not far from there, that's the Wellington Barracks. This is where all the cavaliers are stationed. They have 2 units. Their foot units, 5 units, are housed here. You see all this complex, the white buildings here, this is the Wellington Barracks. Now they're not here, 5 of them all the year. So 5 units, then regular soldiers, they fought in Iraq, and in Afghanistan, and everything. So they will go, at the moment here I believe it's the Grenadiers, and at 11 o'clock we'll see them coming out from here. So this is a perfect spot. Now we need to be careful not to start moving too much because people will keep coming. They will be out in about 10 minutes. Okay, so what we're gonna do when they come out in 10 minutes, you see they're wearing their regular uniform. This is black and red. You're gonna see their hats. The hats are made of bear skin, so they're not gonna be hot today because they're gonna be very hot. Then it's real bear, it's Canadian bear, it's brown bear, and it's dyed black. The Canadian government, because there is very healthy population of bears in Canada, every year they allow certain numbers to be hunted, so they keep the numbers balanced, and they sell them to the British government. Now the hats you're going to see, you're in about 3,000 to 4,000 pounds. The reason they're long is because they were invented by the French, and it was the Duke of Wellington who took it as a spawn of war from the French. You see in the old days, do you remember the gun where you have to clean it and put powder and then a bullet? That takes time. So what I did, for example, I'm hiding, I put my head up, my hat, you think it's me, you shoot it. But you don't shoot my head because the hat is much higher. And then while you clean your gun and get it ready, I come up and I shoot you. So it was...
Hopefully you appreciate this tour.
എടുക്ക് ചാച്ച നിൽക്ക് മാറ്റിയിട്.
Had their first child, that was the future George IV, bless you. The future George IV, and they had one childhood because Queen Victoria was considered as the mother of the empire. And you see it's topped up with Nike. Nike is the goddess of victory. You see she's standing on a globe and she's holding a victor pound in her hand. And she's covered with real gold. She's made of bronze and she's covered with real gold. Okay? And all the gates, you see here Malaysia, there's Australia, there's Canada, Africa, India. These are Commonwealth gates. These are all the Commonwealth donated this when this area was made up. It's much later than the palace itself. Okay? Now guys, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go and have a walk now through a park and we're gonna go to Horse Guard Parade. Hopefully we'll make it in time. We might even see some cavaliers. Okay? Let us...
ഷോർട്ട് ഡിസ്റ്റൻസേ പറഞ്ഞുള്ളൂ.
That's the treasury of military crime. Okay? Let's go. 5 different continents. You see in the middle, with the child that is asleep, that's Martin Luther King. You see number 8 from the left, number 8, Esther Jones. She's a Pakistani lady who converted to Christianity and her family kidnapped her, I believe. You see the man here on the left, first one on the left, I'm gonna wipe the children, who's gonna bring them out? He said, take me instead. So they took him out and they shot him dead. So they all, 10 of them, died for their belief in the 20th century in 5 continents. They're there to remind us that just because we get right, don't forget that people die every day for their belief in the world scene. Then you see on the left, truth and justice, and on the right, mercy. That was a very Alright guys, let's go and pick up. Yeah, we didn't go now guys. We pick up. In the Commons. She's not allowed in the Commons. The last king to enter the Houses of Commons was Charles I. He went in to arrest 5 members of Parliament and they managed to escape, and that's what triggered the English Civil War. You see on the right side, remember I told you about the Red Bridge? Yeah? So you see we're on the Green Bridge now, Westminster Bridge, Lambeth Bridge on our right. That is the Red Bridge. So that's the side, the other side of the Houses of Lords. Wonderful. Okay, and here we go, the London Eye, 135 meters tall. That's where you're going, guys, okay? That's where you're going to go now. You see, it doesn't stop. It goes on constantly. So you're going to go onto the capsule while it's moving. Okay, it wouldn't stop. So you go on the capsule while it's moving, and then you get off it while it's moving. So half an hour exactly. From there, you're going to go for lunch in a restaurant called Mumtaz. And from Mumtaz, you're going to have the small walk to Madame Tussauds, where you're going to meet Narendra Modi and Bapu is there, Mahatma Gandhi too. Both of them are there. Okay. On the right side, this is now St. Thomas's Hospital. There's been a hospital here since the 1200s. Okay. Back in the 1200s, hospitals would have been run by monks and nuns as well. Okay, so this is also where, if any nurses around you, this is where the museum for Florence Nightingale is here in St. Thomas's Hospital. Okay, 1 minute guys, and we're arriving in London Eye. Now I'm going to come down with you and I'll wait with you until we got the tickets out, and then I'm going to leave you here. So I'll use this opportunity here where I've got the mic just to say thank you very much guys, and it was my pleasure to meet you all and to spend the morning with you. So thank you very much, and please come back and visit us, and hopefully I'll see you very soon in Bharat myself, okay? So thank you guys. Thank you. Okay, in a second now we're going to get off.
അതല്ല കുഴപ്പമില്ല.
See you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Hello and welcome to the Coca-Cola London Eye. Are you ready to be part of London's skyline? Whilst you're enjoying the amazing views, the ride might stop briefly at times just to help other guests get on. This is totally normal.
മഴ പെയ്താലേ ക്ലിയർ അല്ല, ഗ്ലാസ് വെള്ളം കഴിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. മഴ പെയ്തില്ലെങ്കിൽ അത് ഞാൻ കഴിച്ച രാവിലെ മഴ നല്ല ക്വാളിറ്റിയാണ്. ബോട്ടിലേക്കുള്ള ജെട്ടിയാണ്. 25 മിനിറ്റ്സാണ് സെക്കൻഡ്.
But the monitors are going to be marking them. There used to be computers.
Don't miss our immersive 4D cinema experience, free with your ticket. You'll find a cinema inside our ticket office, or relax and treat yourself to a drink in our exclusive lounge.
പാലക്കാട് ട്രെയിൻ റെയിൽവേ സ്റ്റേഷനാണ്. ചുറ്റി നടക്കുക, എല്ലായിടത്തും കാണാൻ പറ്റും.
MI building ഒക്കെ അവിടെ വരുന്നത് ജെയിംസ് ബോണ്ട് St. Paul's and you can also see Shakespeare. That's the tallest building here. And you see there's a building ഇങ്ങനെ ചെത്തി വെച്ചോളൂ. അതിൽ ക്യൂക്കമ്പർ ബിൽഡിംഗ് വരും. അതിനൊരു പ്രോബ്ലം ഉണ്ട്. താഴെ വണ്ടി പാർക്ക് ചെയ്ത വണ്ടിയൊക്കെ കത്തിപ്പോകും. അത് സ്റ്റഡി ചെയ്ത് പറ്റാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല. അതിൻ്റെ ഷേപ്പ് അങ്ങനെ കിടക്കുന്നതാണ്.
ഇപ്പോൾ പോയ ഈ മറ്റേ ബക്കിംഗ്ഹാം പാലസൊക്കെ
That's the St. Paul's Cathedral.
അവിടെയാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ പോയത്.
St. Paul's. St. Paul's ആ ഒരു ഡോം കാണാം.
ഓക്കെ.
St. Paul's Cathedral.
ആ സൈഡ് തന്നെ ആയിരിക്കും. ട്രെയിൻ പോകുന്നു. മെട്രോ ആയിരിക്കും. ഇതൊക്കെ മറ്റേ ഇതായിരിക്കും മറ്റേ
Security breach in the med bay. Warning, security breach in the med bay. Warning, security breach in the med bay. Security breach in the med bay. Warning, security breach in the med bay.
അതുങ്ങൾ പറയുന്നതിനനുസരിച്ചാണ് നിർത്തുന്നത്.
Or not to be? That is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of our
Shah. So normally when we do London, we don't stay in this area. We stay in near the Kensington Garden. But because we're going to Oxford tomorrow, and since we came yesterday night, this hotel makes sense. Because Oxford is the same distance now, and from here it's 1 hour. So you'll save that 45 minutes in the morning, and tomorrow is working day. Sorry, tomorrow is Sunday, but even on a normal day, the distance is so much. So otherwise you have to start at 8 o'clock.